Brian, do we have any public input tonight? Brian, where are you?
Well, we have nothing set up. I don't know if Josh has any minutes.
Give a couple quick updates yet. 2 weeks ago, you see that the governor finished distribution of $500 million for expansion of broadband. He claims that's 100% coverage throughout the state. Unfortunately, the last vendor to get money is the satellite vendor. It's not cable. I just want people to realize that Charter and Time Warner, who got the bundle of money through the whole process, they're not going to go that last mile. I know here in Wheatfield, there are some roads out there that have less than 15 homes per mile. That's the business model. If they don't have 15, it's just not cost effective for them to run it. So out in the most rural areas, it's going to be the wireless, it's going to be satellite. Now they have to adhere to what the governor has put forth, required to guarantee a 25 meg download, must be cost effective. They set a limit of $60, and it must be reliable. I heard good and bad about satellite, but right now that's the only thing, or the last thing was actually funded through the government funding. Last week, Friday, we met with Congressman Collins, with pursuing some federal funding, there's other funding there. Commissioner Pye from the FCC has made rural broadband #1 for the entire country. So we're going to be now working with Washington to bring yet other options for high-speed broadband throughout the rural areas. So that whole movement is now over. The only other thing I have to update you on is we've been having quite a few meetings on our lake level. We are looking at potential flooding, or probable if it's possible. But our emergency management services have been working with all the counties on the South Shore Lake with various prepare. Most of all our equipment together, sandbags and so on, because we do anticipate another spring. Maybe not as much rain we hope, but we are going to keep the shoreline water really soon. But we do the best we can to prepare, and it should be ready soon. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Are the levels higher or lower?
The level is higher. They 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the first reading was 11.4, above where it should be, long-term average. When we met with Congressman Collins, it was up to 12 plus, above its long-term average. So we really are got a little bit higher water right now than we did last year.
How about over last year's height there? Is it higher this year than last year?
Correct. Yes,
wow.
Yeah, we started around 9 something, went to 11 point, whatever, and come over 12. So we're already started out on the bad side of the equation. There's folks that don't see the heavy rain or the nor'easters, it's really on our shore and give us all the education. But Jonathan Schultz, the emergency services, working with the other counties have been in confidence for at least the last couple of months. So we're really good.
Thank you, David. For the record, all members are present. Approval of the minutes from February 26, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's approved. Approval of the minutes for March 5th, 2018.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Have a second. Can I have I'm sorry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Bill payment. Voucher number 201-80254 to voucher 201-80301 with a total of $63,650.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pay the bills. Department heads. Paul Sigmund. You can have your choice of microphone tonight, Paul.
I don't have much tonight. I do want to tell everybody there will be a drainage committee meeting tomorrow at 6:30 at the highway department in our conference room. We're just going to go over a few things we have planned for the summer, as long as the summer cooperates with us and we don't end up with rain like we did last year. Otherwise, I just talked to one of the blacktop companies today, and they hope to start making top for us the first week of April, so we can go out and start doing some better patching, more permanent fixes of the rough spots. And that's all I have.
Anybody, anything for Paul, guys? Thank you, Paul. Richie Donner, Water Sewer. Hi, Richie.
Good evening. On the water side, we're pretty quiet. However, on the sewer side, we keep running into the same issues. Couple of our pump stations, we're ending up pulling rags, towels, T-shirts, you name it, we're pulling them out of the sewer pumps. Out on Indicon Drive, over on Jago Road, and over at Ashwood and Schultz, it seems like we're getting habitual problems in the same areas. We've begun sending letters out to the areas that are, we believe, causing this issue, with notices that these flushable wipes that they're using, they may say flushable on them, but they're damaging our pumps, they're costing the town money, it's costing us labor to go out and pull these pumps and clean them out. You know, when you get towels and T-shirts you're pulling out of pumps, I don't know how they're getting them through their toilets or getting them down into the sewer system, but it's becoming a real issue with us. So we'd like to put out there to the public that, you know, let's keep it to what's supposed to go down the toilet and not rags or towels or even the flushable wipes. They bond with the grease in the sewer system and cause us a real headache.
We're going through the same thing with recycling issues too. So maybe we could put something together and put it out with a water bill and try and inform people, educate them a little bit, because we met with Waste Management and they have some real issues with the plastic bags jamming up everything, their machines, their trucks, not cleaning their recycling. So maybe we could get something together and we'll just do it in a mailing with your water bills.
We're hoping that, you know, education might solve some of this problem
Might
for
help
us
some of
and
it, but
alleviate
won't
some
do it all,
headaches.
huh?
But exactly, you're never going to solve all the issues. But anything else for me, guys?
Anybody else? Thank you, Rich. Mike Rinaldi, Recreation Department. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening. Just a couple of items. First thing is, this is our last week of T-ball, coach pitch, baseball, softball registrations. After Friday, I got a ding you with a $20 late fee. So I'll get like 85 people on Friday afternoon. So get on in. We probably are going to have like 7 or 8 teams T-ball, 7 or 8 teams coach pitch, another 5 or 6 in baseball, another 5 or 6 in softball. So it's going to be a good year for us. Starting Monday will be summer camp registrations. We are accepting registrations for our returning families that are going to be registering for full weeks. We'll do that next week. The week after, we'll open that up to everybody else that wants single days, but right now we're only going to be doing full weeks. That way they don't get bottlenecked up. This Saturday, it will be our Easter party over at the youth center, 10 to noon. Easter Bunny will be there. Bring a camera if you want to take a snap a pic. And then this coming Wednesday, we are having our first picnic meeting for our annual picnic that we're going to host on Sunday, August 26th. If anybody is interested in getting involved, we haven't started yet, so if anyone's interested in getting involved with the picnic, see me, send me an email, give me a call. It's just a group of volunteers that put this together with the help of the community. The community really funds the whole thing for us, and we kind of just put it together the best we can. So if anyone's looking to get involved, give me a call. Outside of that, I got nothing.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody else? Thank you. This is when I get nervous, Mike. I always forget to call you. Mike, come on down. I had a special note in the circle, so I couldn't miss it tonight, Mike. Sorry about that.
I appreciate that, sir. Nothing too new for us, but I think you had asked me earlier about when spring cleanup started. It started. So if you've noticed, probably around town, we've been hitting some of the old signage.
I saw it.
Probably that's another one that's let residents know that telephone poles are public property, so you shouldn't be putting your garage sale and lost dog and et cetera on there, because it's something that I have to clean up.
Especially when the dog is home.
And especially when the dog is home. So.
And I don't know, Mike, you give me an estimate how many signs you guys picked up the other day?
Day one, about 50, 51, 50, something like that. Most of them did not make it, sorry. There was a couple that probably people are wondering where they are. But again, if they're in the public right away, we're going to take them out. So that's part one. And number two is when we start looking at, we're again keeping an eye on what's going to happen with our lawn care situation and our vacant structures. And I think that we're at like an all-time low as far as what we have on our registry. We're about 17 homes that are under either a maintenance contract or listed as abandoned that we take care of. So pretty good. Things have changed around for us. So
Great.
other than that, nothing else.
Anybody else?
How many unregistered vehicles is the property owner allowed to have on the property?
Unregistered is one, and that's actually the new code, ICC, IRC, allows none, but it gives the jurisdiction the option to give more or less. Our law is currently one unregistered, and that counts for motor vehicles, trailers, etc. That's a constant issue. People ask us all the time too, is how many are we allowed to have, even registered vehicles? Why can we park them in the driveway or in the yard or whatever? We don't have a restriction that limits the numbers of those. But as you said too, limit of one unregistered vehicle.
And that's part of your spring cleanup also?
Yeah, but you know that there's other problem we run into is people still leave old plates on, you know, to go up and see if they're still registered. I might have a car that's got a plate on it, but you know, it has been driven in 10 years. So but I usually get phone calls from the neighbors who'll tell me, go check this out and we'll take a ride by.
Okay. But even so, that car that has a plate on it still has to be legally registered.
And it has to be registered. So, you know, that means we have to, you know, when you're going on personal property, you've got to be careful too.
All right, Mike, thank you for picking up those signs. A big difference. I appreciate it.
No problem.
One question for you, Mike.
Okay.
So you mentioned that there's 17 houses that we're taking care of now. That's an all-time low.
Actually, there's 17 listed as abandoned or vacant. Out of those 17, a lot of them are under maintenance agreements already with either through the banks or whoever the lender is. Probably less than, I think there might be 2 or 3 homes that have no ownership, and they'll go up. Some of them are going to be up for foreclosure through the county this year.
Okay, and that's lower?
That's the lowest in the last 5 years.
Now, is there something that we're doing that's leading up to that, or?
Actually, a lot of it has to do with the new law, with the zombie law that the state put into place back in 2016. It forces the lenders to take responsibility after the payments have ceased. When it comes to if there's a mortgage on a building and there's more than 3 months of late fees or late payment, they're required then to start going visually to see if anybody's still there, and again, keep checking that. They have to take responsibility even without foreclosing on it. So that's the difference. And so it's forcing them to maintain the structures or get them ready to sell faster.
Great, we'll take it.
Yeah, we will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Richard Drowe, our assessor. Didn't forget you, Richard.
And I have nothing, if you have something for me.
It's just nice that you came down to the microphone.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Anybody have anything for Bridget? Thank you, Bridget. We appreciate it. Arlene Nancy. That's okay. We can hear you, Arlene. What do you got tonight? Anything special? And that was April.
I think it's 21st.
Will someone dance with me, Arlene? You know I like to dance. Okay. Thank you, Arlene. Tim Zuber, Wendell.
Thank you. We have a few things on our agenda this evening, so I will try to go quickly. The first item is our planning board report, and this is from the past several meetings, actually the past 3 meetings, so we'll get right into that. At the February 7th, 2018 meeting, there were 2 items on the agenda. The first item was the site plan for Voss Manufacturing, an addition. The applicant proposes to construct 2 single-story metal building additions to their existing facility at 2345 Lockport Road. One addition would be approximately 15,400 square feet, and the other approximately 9,600 square feet. Uses in the additions would be consistent with the uses in the existing facility and would include product assembly and storage, a painting room, and additional restroom facilities. The project is expected to generate 4 to 5 new jobs. The planning board issued a negative declaration under seeker and approved the site plan with noted conditions and contingent upon engineering review. The second item was a sketch plan for Gardner Trucking and Storage. The applicant proposes to construct a 3,000 square foot container storage building, an 11,900 square foot building for self-storage units, and a 42,000 square foot outdoor storage area at 3649 through 3655 Lockport Road. There are actually 3 parcels which will have to be combined for the project, and the existing structures on the properties will also continue to be used for the contracting business. The applicant was advised of several items to include an address on their future site plan, and no action was required or taken. The next meeting was on February 21st, and the first item for that meeting was a sketch plan for Sanborn Distillery. The applicant proposes to construct 2 10,000 square foot distillery manufacturing buildings and a 3,500 square foot restaurant building at 6311 Indicon Drive. That's the west entrance into Indicon. Phased construction would start with one distillery building, then the restaurant, and then finally the second distillery building. The applicant proposes to use farm waste such as apples from local farms in their fermentation project, and they were advised of several items to include on their formal site plan submittal, including setbacks, archaeologic sensitivity issues, endangered species, and the Niagara County Planning Board review. No action was required or taken. The next item was another sketch plan for heritage structures. This applicant proposes to place portable structures, which were basically storage sheds, for public sale at 3275 Niagara Falls Boulevard. Sheds would be on the site year-round, but the majority of sales are between April and November. The board recommended that the applicant review the town's temporary special use permit options, but added that these permits would have a limited time frame. The applicant was also advised that temporary structures on the property would not be allowed within the limits of the Sawyer Creek floodway. No action was required or taken. The next item, which is the one you heard about tonight, was a site plan for the Moog rocket test facility. The applicant proposes various renovations to multiple existing buildings at their location in the Wheatfield Business Park, as well as the new construction of a 725 square foot scrubber building, a 7,595 square foot propellant storage building, and the associated access drive. The project is anticipated to generate 100 new jobs, 50 at this facility and 50 at their East Aurora facility. The applicant was advised of several items to be addressed on their site plan, including review by the Fire Advisory Board and local fire departments, the FAA, NFTA, and special use permit from the town board, which we just heard about. The planning board declared their intent to be lead agency and initiated the coordinated review under seeker. No other action was taken. The last item on that night's agenda was another sketch plan for Wheatfield Gardens. The applicant proposes to construct a 3,600 square foot addition to the existing greenhouse complex at 7341 Shawnee Road. One of the existing greenhouses will be converted to grow green leafy produce, which is basically lettuce, and the addition would be a pack house for that produce. The applicant was advised of several items to include on their site plan, including the proximity to existing utilities and potential impacts to nearby wetlands. 2 nearby residents attended the meeting and discussed concerns over past duckweed problems at the Forest Parkway Lake. The applicant noted that the existing retention pond was no longer needed and will be filled in, and assured the residents that the previous discharges have been repaired and will no longer occur. No action was required or taken. The third meeting that we're covering tonight is the March 7th meeting. And at that meeting, the first item was a sketch plan for Dollar General. This is actually their second sketch plan. They're proposing to construct a 9,100 square foot Dollar General store at 2366 Niagara Falls Boulevard. The store is an allowed use in the current C1 zoning and is expected to generate 8 new jobs, some full-time and some part-time. The applicant revised their previous reviewed site plan to comply with setback requirements and to minimize distance between the building and the adjacent conservation areas. The property is within the limits of the 100-year floodplain and is very close to the Sawyer Creek floodway. The applicant was advised that a floodplain development permit would be required and that a Clomer F would be required to confirm that the development will not have a negative effect on the floodway or floodplain. The applicant was also advised of several items included on their site plan, including parking, their dumpster location, and proximity to and screening from the neighboring house. No action was required or taken. Next item is a site plan, again for Gardner Trucking and Storage. Our previous one was a sketch plan. So I'm not going to read all about that facility, but the applicant did add that they're working with the Niagara County DPW to reduce the width of their existing driveway. Currently it's very wide, so they're going to channelize that into a more typical driveway. The planning board did issue a negative declaration under seeker and approved the site plan with noted conditions and contingent upon engineering review. And the last item is a sketch plan for Pelicanos Marketplace. The applicant is proposing to construct a 10,207 square foot market with a 4,640 square foot attached tenant space and a drive-through banking kiosk at 3328, 3332, and 3338 Niagara Falls Boulevard. Obviously the lots would need to be combined. The relocated market would include a butcher shop, a deli counter, and a grocery area. The applicant was advised of items to include on their site plan, including potential wetland impacts, speedy stormwater permitting requirements, parking requirements, and stacking requirements for the banking kiosk. No action was required or taken. That's our planning board summary. Any questions on any of those?
Pelicano, are they scheduled on the next agenda, do you know?
I do not believe so. They're not. The next meeting is actually this Wednesday, so.
Anybody have any for Tim?
So I actually have a few more items. Most of them have motions that are in your packet that Matt will be doing shortly, so I'll just kind of touch on them briefly if there's any questions.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
The first one is the street sign code updates. We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, and two meetings ago had our public hearing. So we do have motions in the packet for both seeker and for the board to approve those changes if they're ready to do so. I believe we did make one change to the code. It was, as we mentioned, we added in language of how an existing approved subdivision is to be handled. The new subdivisions, during their design process, they'll have signs placed in the appropriate places and labeled on the plans. So with subdivisions that are already approved, they're obviously not labeled on the plan. So those will be those locations will be determined by the town highway superintendent. So it's our sign code updates. The next item is Wheatfield pump station generators. We've been working on this project for about a year now with the water sewer department. We were able to help them obtain a $200,000 grant to put in 5 permanent generators at our pump stations. 4 of them along Town Line Road and 1 along the Niagara Falls Boulevard, which is right by the Aldi store. I believe we just got contracts for that in August. I believe that's when they finally came through. But what we have now is we have completed the design documents and we have a request in to be authorized by the town to go to bid for those. We hope to start bidding on the 26th of this month and take it through opening at the second meeting or the first meeting. My schedule's all messed up. We would open them at the meeting at the April 16th meeting. So that's just a simple motion authorizing us to go ahead and solicit for bids. The next item is Timber Lake subdivision. We received PIP applications for phase 6 of the subdivision. That is the southeasternmost portion of the subdivision. There are 7 total phases in that, so there'll be 1 phase left after this phase. This particular phase will construct all 4 of our PIPs, pavement and curb, water line, sanitary, and drainage. And that will provide 15 single-family residential lots. That's lots 17 through 25 and 91 through 96. So we have received fees from the applicant, and insurance certificates and performance bonds have been reviewed and approved. So we have a motion in for the board to approve those PIP applications. And the last item on our agenda is something that we've been working with the highway department. Basically, we've gone through and done some updates to our town standard specifications and town standard details. We've started out addressing the ones mostly focusing on the highway part, the roadway parts, pavement and curbs, and some of the drainage. So we've outlined with a letter the sections that were done. Basically, we've revised the earthwork section, asphalt concrete paving section, the Portland cement concrete gutter and curb section, and the site drainage spec section. And then there's a total of about 8 of the details that we modified. Some of them were as simple as changing a manufacturer that's no longer in existence, to changing the post size for our turnaround barricades. So we have a motion in for that for you this evening as well. So that's it in a nutshell. Are there any questions on any of those? Obviously, if there's any questions that come up during the motions,
Thank you.
I'm here to answer.
Tim, you might as well stay right there.
Okay.
Town attorney with motions.
Thank you. First motion, as Tim mentioned, is with regard to the seeker, with the sign loss. So I will begin with that. Whereas the Wheatfield Town Code contains and specifies the local laws and ordinances of the town of Wheatfield, and it has been determined that the town code is outdated and does not properly address issues concerning subdivision signage, and whereas the town has prepared draft language to revise the town code, chapter 169, subdivision of land, and whereas in accordance with part 617 of the implementing regulations pertaining to article 8, State Environmental Quality Review Act, seeker of the Environmental Conservation Law, the Wheatfield Town Board has conducted an environmental review of this revised code, and whereas the town has identified that there are no other permitting or approval agencies for this action, and whereas a public hearing was held regarding these code amendments on February 26, 2018, and comments were received, and whereas pursuant to municipal home rule law, the town board is proposing to adopt this zoning code amendment by enacting a local law, now therefore be it resolved that the town of Wheatfield Town Board, in accordance with the State Environmental Quality Review Act, seeker, has determined that the proposed amendment of the Town Code, Chapter 169, Subdivision of Land, will not adversely affect the natural resources of the state and or of the health, safety, and welfare of the public, and is consistent with the social and economic considerations, and therefore issues the attached seeker negative declaration in accordance with Section 617.7 of the seeker regulations, and be it resolved that the supervisor is authorized to sign the Environmental Assessment Form, EAF, which will act as the negative declaration.
I have a motion, gents?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Next motion again from Wendell on that same issue to authorize the local law. Whereas the Wheatfield Town Code contains and specifies the local laws and ordinances of the town of Wheatfield, and it has been determined that the town code is outdated and does not properly address issues concerning subdivision signage, and whereas the town has prepared draft language to revise the existing sections of the subdivision of land chapter of the Wheatfield Town Code, and whereas the town board held the required public hearing on February 26, 2018 and received public comment, and whereas pursuant to municipal home rule law, the town board is proposing to enact a local law as follows: be it enacted by the town board of the town of Wheatfield, New York, that the Wheatfield Town Board amends the Wheatfield Town Code as follows, and I will save everyone me reading the rest, as presented in the motion package for the amendment to the local law.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion, again from Wendell, to authorize Wendell to finalize bid documents and advertise for the bids for the Wheatfield Pump Station Generator Project.
So moved.
I'll second. A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion again from Wendell, to approve the PIP applications for Phase 6 of the Timberlake subdivision. This subdivision phase will provide a total of 15 single-family residential lots, lots 17 to 25 and lots 91 to 96. This approval is made with the following conditions. Number one, The public improvements must be constructed to current town details and standards. Number 2, prior to construction, the developer must submit a drainage plan acceptable to the town engineer and the town drainage committee. The developer must maintain drainage on and around the subdivision properties throughout construction. Number 3, all the requirements of the New York State Speedies SPDES general permit for stormwater discharges from construction activities, GP-0-15-002, must be complied with for the project. Number 4, access to the site from Shawnee Road will be limited to Nottingwood Drive only. A road bond for $100,000 must be provided to cover potential damage to the road during construction, and the bond must specifically reference Nottingwood Drive. And number 5, all required town fees, connection fees, and phase fees must be paid prior to construction commencement.
Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Next motion, again from Wendell, to approve the general revisions to the town standard specifications and details. Specification section 02200 earthwork, 02510 asphalt concrete paving, 02520 Portland cement concrete gutter and curbs, and 02700 site drainage have been revised along with standard details RD-1, RD-2, ST-1, ST-2, ST-3, ST-4, ST-6, and ST-7.
Can you repeat that? Can I have a motion, please?
I don't know if I can.
Have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, next motion from the town board to accept with regret the resignation of Jerry Canada effective March 6, 2018 from the Zoning Board of Appeals pursuant to his resignation letter.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
2 seconds. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Resignation accepted. Regretfully.
Next motion from the town board to authorize the issuance of a Town of Wheatfield proclamation recognizing Jerry Canada's 17 years of consistent and diligent public service as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals and as its secretary.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Again, next motion from the town board to appoint Matthew Kletke as a regular Zoning Board of Appeals member to fill the vacancy left by the resignation of Jerry Canada for the remainder of his term ending on December 31st, 2020.
I'll make that motion. That would be effective April 1.
Yes.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next motion again from the town board to schedule a public hearing to be held at the Wheatfield Town Hall on April 2nd, 2018 at 7 p.m. in the town council chambers regarding the appropriateness of allowing and authorizing the temporary road closure and use of Indicon Drive West and Indicon Drive East at the Vantage International Point Office Park for bicycle racing as proposed by Jonathan Rosen for Criterion Bicycle Racing to occur at 10 events during the summer of 2018.
A motion?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? On the next motion, we have 2 gentlemen here tonight, and fellows, if you would stand up, David Heim and Matt Mosier, and Gary Skrakowski, our other justice. Why don't you stand so we'll have all of our justice stand. But I would personally like, first of all, to thank the town board and the town attorney for all their assistance in conducting interviews for the town justice. All applicants were exceptional and all interviewed very well. However, even with outside pressure to do otherwise, the town board has selected the most qualified for the position. We have also selected a qualified candidate for the prosecutor. And I want to thank both of you, and we know that we have the best qualified people. And we'll do it and welcome to the town of Wheatfield in new positions. And as everyone knows, David has been our prosecutor for many years with the town court. And I think we all know he's the most qualified for the position, and Matt also welcome. So let's go with our motions.
Okay, this
I'd like to, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, this is from the town supervisor and the town board. A motion to appoint David Heim, Esquire, to the position of town justice effective March 20th, 2018, to fill the vacated position of the late Justice John Mateo. Said appointment shall begin March 20th and run through the remainder of the 2018 calendar year.
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Welcome.
Next motion, again from the Town Supervisor and Town Board, to appoint Matthew Mosher, Esquire, to the position of Town Prosecutor effective March 25th for the remainder of the calendar year 2018 to fill the position vacated by David Heim, Esquire, by his appointment to Town Justice. Said prosecutor position will be supervised by the Town Attorney and other Town Prosecutor Matthew Brooks.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Matt, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Next motion, again from the Town Supervisor and Town Board, to approve and authorize the Town Supervisor and Councilman to sign the 2018 Highway Law 284 agreement for the expenditure of highway monies within the Town of Wheatfield as presented at the March 19th, 2018 Town Board meeting, which a copy should be in the package.
So moved. Second. A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I, excuse me, I have one supplemental motion. It's from Town Supervisor and Town Board to approve and authorize the Town of Wheatfield Zoning Board of Appeals to conduct interviews for the Zoning Board of Appeals Secretary, which is a non-member position, from the pool of those applicants who have previously submitted a letter of interest from the town's internal posting, and to give recommendations to the Town Board regarding the hiring of same.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And that is it for motions that I have.
Board members, Larry Hellwood.
I've got a few things tonight. We attended Association of Towns training back in February over President's Day weekend in New York City. And while we were there, the New York State Controller's Office had a booth at their where the vendors were, and a lot of the state agencies were there, and they had unclaimed funds. And I think Supervisor Swan knows that we had 4 unclaimed funds, some in the water department, some in Supervisor's office, and I think Debbie Carr received her first check back today for $632.51. So I'd like to thank your office for going after these, and supposedly we got 3 more checks coming. Excuse me.
That's it, Larry?
The other,
Oh,
well,
sorry.
I had to clear my throat.
We're clumped. Okay.
I think even Councilman Doucette actually found some money that he was owed while he was in New York City too. I don't know, did you get anything yet, Gil? Another announcement, I just received an email today from the Buffalo Coalition on Open Government that last year we received 2nd place for our website, 2017. 2018, we just jumped Amherst. We're in 1st place now. So big thank you goes out to Kathy Harrington and Mike Rinaldi and all the departments keeping our website active and our content up to date is very important for our residents, our constituents, and a big thank you goes out to all the departments for doing that.
I think you've been very involved too, haven't you, Larry?
Trying to.
Thank you, Larry.
But yeah, we went from a 75% to an 80%, and it shows the effort that we're putting in. They've got a few more suggestions, so maybe we can improve on the 80% we got this year. But thanks for all the departments and all their help. The other thing for the departments, everyone knows we've got a new phone system that's going to be placed in all the departments. All the departments submitted. There was an inventory form that everyone filled out. One sheet of paper for each phone that you're going to be using. The vendors coming in next Wednesday and Thursday, the 28th and 29th. I don't know appointment dates yet, but they're going to be spending time individually with each department. So the more phones you have, Richie, the longer they're going to be with you. I'm not picking on Richie, but he's got the most phones. So if you only have a couple of phones in your department, like the supervisor's office, they'll be spending less time with that department than they would other departments. So, and for fire department, I think Brian Croning, I mentioned to him at another meeting, when you had the dirt pulse installation dinner, that, New York State, we picked up on this in New York City, where it associates the towns, they have propane training. They've agreed to come in, and do that training on site. They usually do that training in, near Albany, but because of the 5 fire departments in the town of Wheatfield, they've agreed to come on site. They wanted to know if you wanted a live burn or do it on a drill night. They'll do it Saturdays during the week, whatever you want. I'll give you the contact information and you can take over control of this. I'm just gonna hand it off to you tonight. You're welcome. And I think Kurt, we have a couple openings on the assessment board review, and I think Kurt's gonna be making those motions after I'm done here. But I think that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Gil Doucette. Thank you, Joe. Kurt Doctor.
Yeah, so some updates from the Comprehensive Plan Task Force. We have a new volunteer who joined, who I want to introduce, Don B. Will be joining the Disaster Management Focus Group headed up by Mike Sarbo. See Mike here. Don has been an active member of the community for a long time. He's active in organizing the Wheatfield Family Picnic. So we're really happy to have Don involved in with our group of volunteers with the task force. So welcome Don, and thank you. I just wanted to quickly also mention the Tri-County Ambulance continues their 100 Life in 100 Days campaign. Their goal is to train 100 community members in life-saving CPR and defibrillator skills. It's free training, and they still have 4 sessions left, and I believe there's availability in all 4. So if you're interested in that, go to tri-community-ambulance, or go to the town's website, and you'll be able to find a link to go over and sign up for that. Real quick, something I always look forward to, the Thunder of Niagara International Air Show is back in Wheatfield. Something that I really look forward to. The Thunderbirds are coming back. But not only that, this year the Canadian Forces snowboard birds are coming. So clear your calendars. Make sure you're available June 9th and June 10th. And then Larry let the cat out of the bag a little bit there, but I do have an additional motion, a late motion that I'd like to make, if I may. Or okay.
Well, I guess if you want to make the motion, I mean, if
Yeah,
it's
I'll
something we have to review, or
let me say it. So
Yeah.
the Assessment Board of Review has 2 openings, and I wanted to make the motion to appoint Justin Higner and also Zach Carr for those spots.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And congratulations, Zach. Zach is here.
That's it, Kurt?
That's it.
Thank you, Kurt. Randy Retzlaff.
2 things. One is, the Agricultural Focus Group is meeting next Tuesday. Our first grant application has been submitted. Bernie is here. And that is to evaluate the soil and the grounds in the town. If we wanted to keep some green area, that we would know where the best soil is in the town to preserve some farmland or green open space. And that's going to be next Tuesday. We'll talk about that a little bit. The other thing is, Dave, I haven't seen you in a while, and Bernie's here. When there was those 2 back-to-back accidents on Lockport and Hoover Road last year, I called the DOT because the county, we had sent something to the county turns that over to the DOT, to Dave Sobel. I asked him about lowering the speed limit. He said he sees no reason to lower it. I said, Dave, it's an easy fix to put some speed limit signs there. And he said, no. He says, we don't see the need for a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit on Lockport Road. He says, but one thing, he did acknowledge there were quite a few accidents there, and that being a county road controlled by the county. He did ask if, he said, probably a better option would be a traffic light. You know, of course, that's going to cost somebody some money, whether it be the county or the town or whoever would control it, would ultimately cost us money. Whereas in my mind, some speed limit signs would cost us very minimal. So I guess, Bernie, not that it would ever happen, but is there a way to apply or look on the state website for money, for funding, for I'm, it's a county road. I'm not saying whatever happened, but it'd be nice to know if it was out there, because I know last fall when it was back-to-back where the Spectrum Cable, Larry called you, and I happen to live on Lockport Road, so I get the text and the phone calls right away when it happens. Normally it's not a local person that gets in the accident, because we know the area. We all know what Lockport Road is like. It's the people that come in from, the last time it was North Tonawanda, but it's unfortunate no matter how it falls into place.
Now, over a month ago, I had a number of calls, and I had the undersheriff run statistics on over the last 5 years. And according to the statistics, and I DOT, it really didn't fit within the criteria for visual light. I myself looked at all those statistics and was talking to the sheriff's department about that. The way the dual stop signs with early stop signs on Hoover, it was more of an alternative, but it did not seem to justify their opinion. That's opinion. That portion of another visual light was suggested in that case.
Understood.
If you go look at that and the service and any alternative you come up with, would be nice.
That's all right. Well, I guess what would be the alternative here? Have you reviewed it for potentially stop signs, double
Do
stop
we have
signs?
double stop signs there, Paul? On Hoover?
No, I don't believe so. That's actually the county's responsibility.
On even,
When it goes to the county road, it's their responsibility.
even on our Hoover Road? Can we contact the county for possibly putting up, because Randy's right, there's always accidents there, or very near accidents. Could we contact them to see if we can put additional stop signs on both sides?
Yep.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
There's been a number of intersections out in the northern town also where they do the dual stop signs. I know they got the stripes on the post, and then they do a setback of a first set of warning signs to stop the plane. There's actually like 4 signs close to the intersection.
And that's some intersections that are probably using. So Paul, if you would check, I'd appreciate it. Let me know.
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave. Don McSwan. We're working with Wendell, put a nice presentation on in the office the other day related to converting the town's lighting system, street lights, into LEDs. And just on a preliminary meeting, we're also meeting with National Grid one day this week. I lose track of the meetings. But we're meeting with National Grid also to have see what they can offer as far as the reduction in the cost to the town residents for street lights. And and again, this is all preliminary, but one of the options is that they would maintain ownership of the pole and we would buy the fixture, which would give the town residents a 25% savings each year. However, if we purchase the lights, now that would not be the pole, if we purchase the light and fixture, in the long run, we could save up to 75% a year over a 25-year period. It was millions of dollars. Again, Larry's aware of this, and we have some meetings. I think Larry's coming to the meeting too. But it could be a really cost savings. It's going to cost us money initially, but in the long run, it will save the residents a ton of money. So anyway, that's something we're looking at. Also, I see Mike Zarbo sitting here from the disaster preparedness, and I just want to say, Mike, it's a pleasure working with you. I commend your energy with your group, and I look forward to working with you. And that's all I have tonight. Our next meeting will be April 2nd, 2018 at 7 o'clock. Do we have a public hearing for the bicycle? And what time is that? 7 o'clock for the bicycle races? If anybody would like to speak on anything that we have discussed tonight, please come forward and come on down to the microphone so we can all hear you. Anybody have anything they'd like to talk about tonight? Oh, Kathy, I am so sorry.
That's okay, I'm not on there.
Kathy has an announcement.
Well, it's really, Wild Critters is an organization in Niagara County that, they take care of in, it's a conservation club, and they take care of wild animals. They're having their annual basket auction. The town always puts a basket in their auction. It's at the, Conservation Club in Youngstown. But they take care of all animals in Niagara County, and quite often every year we contact them. If there's an injured or a stray animal, they will come and rescue. They're an animal rescue. They don't take care of domestic animals, but raccoons, skunks, if there's babies, a house over here, there was a fox that got into an abandoned house in the basement. They came in and they not trapped it, but they got the fox out and took it and had it, took it to an animal shelter somewhere. So they do a lot of good, so we support them. Their basket auction is on April 22nd, and there'll be flyers up in the hallway and by my office. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. And while we're talking about skunks, we had a little incident with a skunk here at the town hall a few weeks ago. And since that time, I just want to make people available that we do have a list of people that are qualified to pick up skunks and dead animals. And we have some local people that have been trained. You have to call DEC, and there's a number we have in the office, and they will send out a local person to pick up the dead animal. They do charge. It's anywhere from $25 to $50, but they take that money and they donate it to the SPCA. So if you do have an issue with animals, don't call the supervisor. Anyway, and the other thing and I'll close it out with this, we did receive a $70,000 reimbursement for the fence on Nash Road, which is part of the grant. And that's all I have. Anybody like to speak? Can I have a motion to adjourn, gents? And all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.